Hiphoptictacticians of the world. We have a very special guest this evening. This gentleman, I think, is probably one of the hardest working people I know in our hip hop scene here in Ontario. I don't know too many people doing more than him when it comes to production, video releases. He's a radio host. He makes beats. He's been on this show before. Ladies and gentlemen, it's MLNY.
My man, my man. Well, my guys, I should say, my guys. Zach, Tactic was good, y'all. How you doing?
What's going on?
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. So you've done a number of remarkable things since the last time you were on this show.
Yeah, man. So now I'm trying to think when it was when I came up when I was talking to you guys last. That was like a
I
good
think
like.
I think it
still
was
lived on
around
Queen
2
Street.
years ago.
Yeah. Because I still lived on Queen Street at the time.
Okay, so we'll get into a lot of what you've done, but the reason that we're here tonight is to talk about a new single that you have out, Bohemian
Yes.
Bucket.
Yes.
A cinematic masterpiece, if I don't say so myself.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
So every time you put out a release, at least since you've been on my radar, it sparks a conversation in the community. And I think that that when you put out music, it's usually thought provoking, and it definitely makes people talk about it. So tell us the thought behind Bohemian Bucket, and also the alias Yassine Drake.
Well, it's kind of, even what you just said. We've been doing this for a long time, right? And I think, you always try to make a release special. And I think I kind of found my niche in how to market and promote. Honestly, just recently, like I think the White Tupac joint kind of was like really the eye opener for that. Um,
Hmm.
just like, because I mean, even that was like kind of magic in a bottle, right? Like, I knew that we had this song like 2 years beforehand, so I was able to start trolling, trolling the socials and the hip hop community like 2 years before it dropped,
Hmm.
and it was like the best rollout I could ever ask for. So following that up was not really an easy task, and I didn't want to just go back to new video out, run it up, right? It's like once you set a precedent, I feel like you gotta live up to expectations, right? Like
Absolutely.
I wrote a line the other day. It's kind of like um basically the premise of it is like you work so hard, you work so hard to be the best, and then it starts to be expected. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it's like,
Yeah.
but I think that's kind of it's what you want to do, right? You want to be able to garner attention and grasp people's, especially in today's society, in microwave society, you want to be able to grasp people's attention span, um, especially prior to the release, right? And I think the traditional way of just dropping a teaser, saying, "Hey, new music coming out." I mean, I find it's been worn out for myself for a long time,
Hmm.
and I find it's worn out for a lot of other artists. I always at least try to be a little more engaging than just like new video, run it up. Like I hate when people do that shit. It's like if you're gonna put the time into your art, at least act like you care. But
Yeah.
to me, the White Tupac joint was just eye opening. How much more successful a release can be if you just take some time into like actually curating. I don't know, something enjoyable, something entertaining around it. So, give people a reason to want to check it, right? So the whole story, for some reason, it's like I feel like this camera's like backwards. I keep turning it the wrong way. Um, I haven't done a live stream thing in a minute. Um, so personally, like the Asking Drake thing, the Bohemian Bucket, it's funny, man. Like whole synopsis of the joint, really. Salute my man King Bondolero. He had produced the joint for Smith and Wesson. They were doing a Brooklyn remix contest a while back, and I caught his post on the IG, and I'm like, yo, I'm like, if they don't pick this, I need this beat. Forgot I even did that.
Hmm.
And then he hits me up months later. Like, we're talking like 4 or 5 months later. He's like, yo, my G. He's like, I know you've been killing it. Like, what, you can have that beat. He's like, but you gotta give me straight bars. I'm like, okay. So first line, not accepting the apologies, letting Nirvana play. I'm like, all right, there's the scheme. We're gonna go with that for the whole beat. So the beat
Yeah.
ends. We're keeping that scheme. So I did it. And the last couple bars in the shit is sorry, I'm probably not supposed to curse, right?
We're late enough. It's okay. Don't go off like Governor did last week, but you're good.
Governor likes to cuss. Salute my man Govs. Um, yeah, so he gave me the beat. I sat with it for like a month, maybe like three, probably like 2 weeks, and hit him up with so the whole scheme follows. But so the last like 6 bar stanza, the whole verse is when I'm vocal, the people caught in my sonic range hear me, and now most of them deaf, like they was Yasin Bey. I ain't one of the 100 million that follow Drake, but mommy, you could pop the champagne. Poppy is on the way, and
Mm.
so I had it. We had done the video, you know what I mean? Like everything conceptualized. I just didn't have a song title yet, right? And trying to think. I was originally just going to call it James Bondolero because it's produced by King Bondolero. You know what I mean? So I was just going to call it James Bondolero because I say that at the end of the song. And I was like, I don't know. It reminds me of like some, when Jay-Z would be like, Justin Blaze and the Blaze X. So, you know what I mean? Like just some
Yeah.
like kind of funny, like play on word stuff. So I kind of like that was originally where I was going with it. And then, just like, just like the universe aligning things up like it seems to sometimes. For Most Def goes on the record in this interview back in the spring and just starts, going off on Drake saying it's shopping music and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I was paying attention. And then, salute to my guy Friday. We love hip hop. My man Dusty Wallace, my effing brother.
Yeah.
Um, they were talking about it on their show, or it was Friday talking about it. But either way, he was talking about like how Mos Def came to Toronto and married a shorty when he was all high on Ebos one weekend back in like the early 2000s. And I think it was like don't let me get the name wrong, but I think it might have actually don't let me put the name out there, but it was a prominent Toronto rapper slash singer
Mm.
slash producer's girl, I guess, current girl, I guess,
Yeah.
and he married her for a weekend or something. I don't know, man. I don't know the story. All I know is that Drake commented on the video, Bohemian Bucket. I just thought that was the funniest thing in the world. I just thought that was so funny. So I just started playing with it, right? Like I'm just like, I called myself that, and then it dawned on me once again. It was kind of like the Tupac thing. Like it dawned on me, like maybe like a day or two after I like called myself that on a post just to be funny. I was playing back the song that I still need to make a name for in the last 6 bars. I literally referenced Most Def as Yasin Bey, and then I referenced Drake for the next following 2 bars. And I'm like,
There it is.
there we go. So I was gonna call the song Yasin Drake, and then White Tupac had been out for like probably like 2 months at that point, and I'm bouncing ideas off one of my homies breaking records, Scott, and I'm like, I don't know, man, it's kind of gross. I'm like, you do White Tupac and then name a joint Yasin Drake. I'm like, I don't know, I don't want to just be like the guys like naming rap songs after other rappers and stuff, right? I was like, I don't know. I was thinking like Bohemian Bucket. He's like, that's a way better name, anyways. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
cool, let's go with that. So that's kind of how the name came to be, and then it's just like, all right, now I got something humorous I can play into. So and then like 2 weeks leading up to the promo, I kind of created this like cartoon character with it, and I went and did a radio appearance last week. I wish I could have had the bucket with me right now and did the interview as Yasin Drake, but I don't have the bucket with me. But I got a bucket that I'm actually rocking, and you know what I mean. I get just full committal to the character,
And the video's done so well too. I mean, you got Stacy Brizzle as
Yeah, yeah.
the waitress that like really doesn't give a shit, and like it's just a great opening to the video. Like everything you did about it, like great job, man.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you. And even like that, like, so that's like the first part of like a continued video series that's coming. So, like, the next like 3, 4, maybe even 5 music videos are all connected with this kind of overlaying other story.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
it'd be interesting.
back to the white Tupac.
Yep.
Honesty moment. I wanted to hate it so badly.
I'm sure.
I really didn't want to like it, and you know, I didn't interact with your post when it was coming out or anything. I'm like, oh, this is, I don't know if this is a good look, man. And then when it came out and I watched, I was like, this is just so well done, and so respectful, and so it was just done with class.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Right.
I wanted to commend you on that as well, because I really, I'm telling you, I wanted so much to hate it, man.
Hey, you're not the only one, my brother. You're not the only one. That's the power of using, I mean, I think I think like, I think enough people know me well enough to know how committed and in love with hip hop
Mm.
I am. I'm like hip hop head to the fucking. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to cuss,
Yeah,
but
I know what
to
you
the
mean.
core. And I even know off like our last conversation, some of the wormholes we went down. Like we're nerds of this, right?
Yeah,
So like I know how people are. Like I know how passionate people are. Like I remember when dude dropped White Iverson. I was like, you think you are? That's Iverson. You know what I
yeah.
mean? But I'll be honest. It was my one of my Caribbean boys is the one who suggested the whole play. Like the whole White Tupac thing, dog. It all came from. I mean, really, you could thank Kenzo Ferrari, the ex-manager of Lunchroom
Mm,
Poets. Really,
okay.
you could thank him because I don't know why, but that guy's got a hard on for hating me. So I, don't know, I made some post one day about like an album I was working on, and then he got like triggered and made like some big subliminal ass post about me. I wasn't even friends with him on Facebook, so I couldn't see the shit. But my boy hit me up and he's like, whatever, man, which is whatever. So my boy Cheza hit me up. He's like, hey, you're triggering people out here with your confidence, eh? I'm like, say word. And so he's like, yo, I'll call you tonight. He wouldn't tell me who it was. And then I'm on the phone with him and he tells me, and then he's like, man, you're getting mad. You're getting the dudes out here who's like, they're supposed to be somebody's out here angry. Like, he's like, imagine what people would do if you started claiming you were Tupac. It's like,
Hmm,
it's a good idea.
okay.
And they literally like just like from this kind of just like inside joke, it's kind of like, then I started making a couple little 1-2 posts just to like, one thing I do like about social media is like you can just say some nonsense and it'll really show you who f's with you and who doesn't. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
totally.
And I'm a sarcastic person to begin with, so I've been like teetering that game for a long time. But I used to kind of, I used to really care. You know what I mean? Like I tried not to burn bridges or anything. You didn't want to upset me. I just don't care anymore, bro. My track record is there. You know what I mean? Like if people want to hate, they can hate. I don't really care. It's like it's only people who are not doing as much as you're doing anyways, or don't have a trajectory that you have that are going to spend time hating you anyways, right? Only bums got time to hate. So
Well,
I
yeah, and
mean,
that kind of brings me to my next point. I mentioned that you probably work harder than anyone else in our scene here in Ontario. There's one person that's like debatably like up there with you with putting in the work, and that's B1 the architect. And
B1 man, that guy
it was
works,
so
bro.
awesome to see you guys come together on a track earlier this year.
Oh, thank you, man. And actually, we got something we've been working on too. We got a little something we've been working on too. And it's cool, man, because I find B1's very like, you know, very like take himself serious type of MC, which is great. But like me and him kind of didn't like each other at first, right? That WTF joint was kind of like us like realizing that we had no reason to dislike each other except we both had rapper egos. And like it was just a stupid thing. So we
Hmm.
started talking and realized how much like we got along and like how like similar we were in a lot of capacities. So that WTF joint was kind of like our mending of the bridge type of thing, you know what I mean? Like and yeah, it was received so well, and we had so much fun shooting the video. And I went up there for a recording session, and we had a great time the whole time. That we ended up doing the Diabolic remix. That was like a thing I just threw on the platter right there. I was like, look, I got to remix this Diabolic joint for Chris Thomas. I'm like, I don't have permission for us to hop on it, but we got like, if the next hour of the studio is free and we can both pen a verse and put it down in this hour before like finish my session, and I can take it home with me tonight and show him it, I guarantee he doesn't tell us we can't get on it. So we both did it. I took it home. And that's why my whole verse, if you listen, that's why my whole verse rhymes with Chris Thomas. The whole verse.
Yep.
And I reference him twice, and I'm like, I'm the best in the province minus Chris Thomas. You know, like I
Oh, nice.
literally dedicate my verse basically to shouting out Chris Thomas because how's he gonna reject that, right? So
Yeah.
we just weaseled our way onto the remix, but like even in doing that, you know what I mean? It kind of like I kind of grew a bond with dudes. So yeah,
Yeah,
but like
shout out
man,
Chris Thomas. I'm actually, when we finish here, I have to do my second. He actually sent me back. He's like, I need you to resubmit this.
okay.
I made the cuts too funny on a song for him, and I was like, what? Chris Thomas thinks they're too funny? But yeah,
That's amazing.
so I have to tone him down a bit.
That's amazing. I'm just getting on the train here, so just if I just kind of blank out for 1 sec, that's all. But yeah, man. So long story short, like me and B1 realized we had a really good working relationship, so we got some more stuff in the pipeline. And at the end of my verse, I just randomly end it with "Salute to Phil Collins" on that Diabolic joint. It just fit the rhyme scheme. It didn't mean nothing. It was just like funny, you know. And so we kind of like have this like we're doing a whole EP, and we're kind of like in some weird way saluting Phil Collins
I like it. I
throughout the
like
whole
it.
EP. But basically, I just say that to say B1 is a funny dude, and I found that in his music a lot, he never really brought that side out of him. And just through talking to him, I'm like, bro, I'm like, this stuff, man. I'm like, stop calling your songs moody. Use this side of yourself to promote yourself, man. This is like people will love this, and I love it, man, because everything we've done for the project, for the most part, has a humorous undertone. And he set a lot of the songs off. Like he did the first verse, like kind of set the songs off. That's what I mean. So even when you say like his work ethic, I'm not used to working with people who like get the job done before me. You know what I mean? So it's been
Yep.
beautiful. Like it's been beautiful. Like he's on the job. But not only that, man, it's like full committal. Like every verse he sent me, I'm howling. I'm like, yes, man.
Yeah.
This is the stuff I've been wanting to hear from you, man. It just brings that side of your personality out of you, and it's beautiful, you know. So yeah, look out. We got something on the rise that'll not sure when it'll be ready, but it's getting there, and
So
it's entertaining.
there's still one big show that I got to go to this year. It's Mob Deep and Duck Down
Yeah,
at Phoenix on December 15th. So
yeah,
it still has the potential to steal this moment from you. But as it stands right now, on Tuesday, November 26th at 8:54 p.m., you provided me my favorite moment in hip hop this year,
oh yeah,
and I wanted to thank you for that. So back in August, I was on the sidewalk waiting to get in to see Raekwon,
yep.
and I saw you across the street on the other sidewalk chopping it up with Danny O. And I said to Isabel, this would be my favorite thing in the world if MLNY brought Danny O out. And when you guys were on stage, I've said it a number of times on this show, we left in the middle of Raekwon's set because I had already felt like the best part of the night was done. Like the energy that you guys had out there, like squashed Raekwon.
Man, that's crazy. Thank you, bro. Thank you
And
so much.
during Dear Hip Hop, you let out this scream that I felt in my soul. Like your excitement, I was like, yes, he's like into this like I am right now. You let out this scream, and I was like, yes, I feel that in my soul right now. And that was like my moment for live music in 2024.
Yeah, it goes dear hip hop. I love you to the top. To taste the grace of your embrace, I will try. My mission is to utilize what's good for my mic. To rid your mother losers, abusers, and stereotypes. Dear hip hop, what is the state of your condition? Biggest petition, section, making my decision and mission to rhythm from the planet. The tracks hacks the weapons. Next, they back desire, then have the text of protectors. Actors are more skilled. It's gonna fill me with this victory. So that rappers need an elevator to keep up with me. My objective is to be selected with my projections to carry up below the barriers of new dimensions. Yeah, it goes dear hip hop. I love you to the top. To taste the grace of your embrace, I will try. My mission is to utilize what's good for my mic. To rid your mother losers, abusers, and stereotypes. Dear hip hop, what is the state of your condition? Biggest petition, section, making my decision and mission to rhythm from the
Hey, he's back.
Man, sorry about that. It kicked me off there for a minute.
No worries. Did you see the video I was playing?
I just caught like the tail end of it. That's beautiful, man. Even
Yeah, like
watching
I
it,
said,
it's just
that was like the music highlight of the year for me, because not only when you were with him, but also when you were with B1 and Dustin, and you did the tribute song for your fallen friend as well. The
yep, yep,
the energy that you guys had outshone Raekwon. Like
man.
that's such a
That's
big
crazy.
thing, man.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. That's crazy. I mean, that's like, you know, I guess that was kind of what I was saying, and not to make the point longer than it needs to be, but basically, with the whole thing, kind of, you know, not just taking these like loose end opportunities, but like, letting real opportunities come across the table. This was one of them. I got to do that meth and red joint earlier in the summer. I
Hmm.
only, it was very limited. It
You
wasn't
were
like my
early
set.
too. I
Yeah,
caught like the last 20 seconds of your set that night, unfortunately.
yeah. See, and it wasn't even my set. That was my man Swish. You know what I mean? And he
Mhm.
brought me out, so I was like a guest. But um, it was like a good precursor, and I think in it, it just that Raekwon joint to me, like that was kind of like my pinnacle. You know what I mean? Like that was like one of those things where it's like this is the moment you've been waiting for. Considering like last time Raekwon performed at the Opera House, I went there and I drove out there from Brantford with my boys, and I think maybe even Lipinski was there that night, which was like another beautiful thing about doing that tribute. But I
Hmm.
remember like we were young, man. We couldn't even afford the general admission. We were sitting up in the bleachers up at the top there,
Right.
and that was like 15 years ago. So like to have the opportunity to be one of the official openers when he came back, it was just like, it was kind of like a full circle moment for me. Like I remember being at that show and being like, man, like, one day we're gonna be up there, bro. You know what I mean? So it's like it kind of was like one of those moments for me. So I just wanted to make sure I represented correctly. And I'm like, for one, I'm gonna share this opportunity with people who deserve it, right? So for one, giving my man Jack a nod, he's been with me since day one, and he was tight with Lipinski too, so it was a perfect thing to celebrate Lipinski. We had to celebrate Lipinski up there. It was his birthday. I know he was up. I know he was smiling down on us. But yeah, man, I think the other big thing was like Dustin. He gave me my first opportunity when I moved to the city, so it's kind of like I know he's got some things he's dealing with personally. It's not my business to speak about, but I figured he could probably use a night out, and I figure if I'm gonna get put on a stage like this, then there's nobody more deserving to share that opportunity with than my guy who put me on my first stage when I moved out here, right? So
Hmm.
it's full circle moment as far as them things go. And then, Danny's just a dude that very cool, humble dude. One of my favorite guys I've met in this industry. He's always been a huge inspiration of mine. I think he's the top five best Toronto rappers of all time lyrically. Um,
I
you
agree.
know, and he's never waved from that. He's always stayed sharp. And every time I tell him, every time I see him, I make sure and tell him like you're one of the nicest. You know what I mean? Like you're one of the few who consistently get better.
Well, and his live performance, I mean, obviously because of what I just told you earlier, but it's like I'm gonna say 99% of people in any market can't touch it. Like
Yeah,
his clarity and pronunciation of words, like there's never
absolutely
any like,
incredible.
oh, I can't hear what Danny O's saying. No, never. It's so clear. There's no background. Like he's a master of his craft.
He really is. He really is, and he takes it seriously. And and to me, honestly, the funny thing is like I was kicking it with my man Dustin. We were at what concert did we go see, man? We were at I don't even think I went with him. I think I was just in the building. But might even been the Meth and Ret show now that I think
Mhm.
about it. But like I had already asked Dustin, he was down. Brent, sorry, B1, he was the other one because B1's just one of those dudes, right? For one, I know something went left with the Lunchroom Poet show once upon a time with one of the promoters who was running this show.
Mm.
And I know Brent had nothing to do with that. And I also, sorry, B, I call him by his gov. But um, the other thing with B is that he's just, like you said, this that work ethic, right? And I feel like,
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, you deserve an opportunity too. You know what I mean? So he's one dude who I haven't been working with for years or known for super, super long, but just like just a genuine passion, love, and his love for the art and, you know, his articulateness. I felt like he deserved it. So I brought him up and I really wanted to I really wanted to reach out to Dan, a legend, but Danny was the one I had in mind. And me and Dustin were kicking it at a show, and I mentioned it to him, and I was like, I don't want to be disrespectful though. He's like, nah, man. He's like, I don't think he'll take that as disrespect. I think he'd look at it as respectful. I'm like, yeah, you think so? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, if anything, he deserves my set. You know what I mean? Like for real. Like you know what I mean? Like that's legend right there. Like that guy. You know? He's like, nah, man. He's like, if anything, he's like, you're gonna be doing something that like you're going to be setting a blueprint for something a lot of people should be doing, which is going back and showing love to the OGs
Yeah.
and the pioneers. So I was like, all right, man. I'm like, well, what's worst case scenario? He says no. So, you know, and like I said, me and Dan have developed a good relationship over the years. So, yeah, man, I reached out to him. He was
Well,
more
and
than
I
happy.
went to 2 shows this summer where he outperformed the headliner.
Yep.
I love Slick Rick, but man, like going from Danny-O energy down to like Slick Rick sitting down to perform was just like heartbreaking for me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I saw Slick Rick once upon a time, and it wasn't one of my hip hop highlights. I'll say that. You know who was really disappointing, and I hate to say it, it's blasphemous, but um, Rakim, bro,
Really?
one of the worst performances I've ever seen.
That's wow.
I know, and Kid Capri was his DJ.
And I wasn't anywhere in the realm of thinking that the Raekwon show was in my top worst anything, right?
Yeah,
But it was like a long ass day, and basically it was like, wow, like I think we've already seen the best part of the night, babe. Like
crazy.
I don't
That's
think it's going to get
beautiful,
better
man.
than that, because like the energy is just not the same as it was a half hour ago.
That's beautiful, man. And you know what? And two things I want to say to that is like, for one, thank you. I appreciate you even bringing it up, mentioning it. You know, because to me that was a moment for me. I knew I had 20 minutes on stage, and aside from sharing that 20 minutes with people I thought that deserved the opportunity, I wanted to make it a moment to remember. You know what I mean? I wanted that to be something people walked away from, and it wasn't just like, oh yeah, cool, MLNY put on a dope set. Like I wanted it to be like something that went down like years later. People would be like, yo, you know what I mean? Like that was a moment. You know what I mean? Like, and so like even just you saying like what you said, like, you know, we got a month left, but that might have been like your hip hop performance moment of the year. Like to me, that just like that means so much, bro. You know. And the second thing I want to say is the reason why I really got to respect Danny is because for someone who is socially conscious and aware as he is, he's not somebody who like after the white Tupac shit, like just rejected my artistry or assumed the worst of me. Like he you know.
Yeah, the only time I ever saw him call you out online was you said something about like being the best in Toronto or something, and he like put up his hand in the comments.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Which you're supposed to do that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And especially him. And he knows firsthand. I'm the first person to tell him. He knows I'm the first person to tell him that he's a god to me. So
yeah,
you know. But yeah, sorry, just give me 1 second here, all right?
yeah.
Hey, I'm still in the middle of this interview thing. Sorry. I guess I should finish that, eh? You don't have to. Yeah, they're just on here.
This is quite the journey you're going on right now.
Yeah. This is my life. I live out of a duffel bag and a backpack, basically.
So
yeah, thank you very much for that, though. I appreciate you saying that. It was an important moment, very important moment for me, and that was another reason why I respect Danny so much, man, because you know, for somebody who is socially conscious as he is, and you know, and has no problem speaking up on things, even he is somebody, you know, who I've always respected artistically to a very high regard. But to, you know, get that benefit of the doubt from him, you know what I mean? He was never anybody like prior to the thing. Never slandered me, never, you know, never was like, you know, never nothing. He let the art speak for itself and decide. You know what I mean? And you know,
Yeah.
just like even putting that joint out, I knew that it could burn bridges and make some people that you've earned the respect of over a long period of time. You know, you could potentially waver it with something like that. But I
But
was
I don't think that they could watch the video and still feel that way.
I don't think many people could. Most of the people who had something to say prior to ate their words, which was a beautiful thing too. That it was beautiful to
So you
watch
made the
that
beat for
happen.
that too?
Yeah, so actually, I produced that. What I did is I resampled the same song that they sampled for Pain. Like I didn't sample the pop joint. I
Never take me
sampled
alive.
I think it's Earl Clue.
Okay.
But yeah, whatever the joint is, I sampled the same song they sampled, and I can't remember what drums they used, but I actually chose to use the "Sing a Simple Song" by Sly and the Family
Mm-hmm.
Stone. You know, the
Yeah.
same break they used for Temptations. And
Yep.
I'm sample snitching out here. I should shut up, but I mean all the stuff's online anyways. But I just like the way those drums hit better, so
Yep.
I chopped those drums up instead. But I produced it. Funny enough, yeah, um, I actually recorded it to the Pain beat originally. I just recorded
Okay.
on the instrumental, knowing that I wouldn't be able to like release it like that. But yeah. So I just getting the lyrics out, I put it down. I probably record that song. I'm not usually someone who re-records anything at all. Like
Mm-hmm.
until I got my own home studio, now I re-record things like 100 million times. It drives me nuts, and I knew that would happen.
Right.
But I used to be someone like if I went to the studio and I put it down, I was happy with it, unless it was really trash. Like some things are just unsalvageable. I'm not typically the person who go back and record something. So that one though, I had to go back and re-record 3 times.
So the way that the video happened with the kid watching TV and stuff, is that a true story?
Yeah, the video. Yeah, I mean, like that's basically a depiction of just like my
So
childhood. You know, it's funny.
so
Like,
I was in grade 8.
yeah,
So I was 13, and I lived in the country, so we didn't have cable. We had like 2.5 channels basically,
okay,
and
yep,
none of my friends in my rural community really listened to hip hop except me.
yep.
So I found out like a few weeks later when I walked all the way down to the end of my driveway to the mailbox to get like the next month's Source magazine. And
That's how you found out?
yes,
Wow.
because like no internet then, right? Like news traveled slow.
Yeah, that's crazy. See, I was like, so I just grew up a music nerd. I didn't even listen to hip hop at the time, but much music was just what like was on my TV 9 times out of 10. So I just
Yeah.
remember like, yeah, I
I
remember the
wish it
day he
was, but
died.
like I would go to visit my friends that lived in cities and stuff, and I'd bring a VHS tape and I'd come home with like 8 hours of music videos.
Oh, crazy, crazy. Where'd you grow up?
Millbrook, which is like 20 minutes this side of Peterborough.
Oh, okay, okay,
But I
okay.
grew up like not in the village. I grew up on one of the dirt roads outside the village.
Okay, okay. So even your cable and everything was a little shoddy. Like you
No, there
always
was no
probably got
cable. There
extra.
was no cable. We got like
Wow.
the
You got like
local like channel
your
12,
bunny
and then
ears?
if there was like good cloud cover, we got global.
Yeah, bunny ears.
It was one of those ones like with the little dial you turn and it's got the big motor on your and
Crazy.
the triangle truss and all that shit up the side of your house. Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, I didn't have much music, or like maybe I missed the news that night or whatever. But yeah, I remember like walking up my driveway being like, "What? Tupac died?" Just like
That's
flipping through the
crazy.
source, like this is nuts.
That's crazy. I can't even imagine that. Yeah, like to me, like so that's like that literally is my first hip hop memory. Like I didn't even listen to the music at the time. I just literally I turned on TV one day and people talking about this guy who died and how great he was and stuff, and I'm just like, oh, and then they played California Love, and I was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
Like that was literally my introduction to hip hop, So it's funny, even that shot that you're talking about, the kid in front of the TV. It's funny, you don't actually see the TV. So we could have used a shelf. I literally went out of my way to find the TV that I had as a kid. Those big ass joints with it was like the TV
Yeah.
in the wall unit thing. The thing weighs like 200 pounds. Like
Oh, easy. Yeah.
I literally found one, picked it up out of storage that night with my dad. Like, took all this time, and then the TV didn't even end up in the video. The only shot was just over the television. I could have used a shelf. It was crazy.
It turned out really well, and like I said, I didn't want to like it, but I loved it. And
That's amazing.
yeah, everything that you do for the culture is out of love, and you don't do it half-assed. So I appreciate you, man. And like I said, thank you for my 2024 moment of music.
Bro, that's beautiful, man. For you to even say that means so much to me, man, honestly. Oh, sorry, I'm covering my screen here. Give me a second.
Yeah, no worries.
Honestly, that especially from a hip hop head like yourself, like to say something about that, about like a moment that, you know, that I was able to curate on stage, that means more to me than you could even know, brother, for real. Like that means so much to me.
I'm glad. I'm glad. So yeah, tell our listeners where they should follow you and what they should look for next.
All right, so at MLNY 416 on all socials, it's everything. IG, Facebook is MLNY/MLNY. Everything else MLNY 416. Breaking Records Radio, and that's WRECKORDS. I haven't been doing 6 Degrees Radio for the last month or so.
Mm.
I hope to get back in there, but for the time being, I had to take some time off. But salute to my guys, Dusty, DJ Slam, every Monday night, 10 to midnight on CIUT. Yeah, man, and just check out the music, man. Check out the videos. White Tupac joints out. We got the Bohemian Bucket video out. Next video is How I Met Your Mother. Yeah, that one's fun too. That one's fun. We just continuing the story, man. So everybody go check out that Bohemian Bucket, the Yassine Drake. You're gonna see some Yassine Drake content coming out with the bucket head, and just lots of fun, lots of fun, lots of. We're here. You know what? The biggest thing is, I think a lot of hip hop artists think they're cool guys. Everybody's too cool for school. Dog,
Yeah.
we're entertainers.
Yeah,
So
you got to enjoy it.
people. Entertain people. That's it,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
My man, I appreciate y'all, man, for real.
Thank you, sir.
Yo, thank you very much. And sorry for my scattered all over the place here.
That's all right. Zach's got his editing cut out for him. It's fine. Thank you so much.
Yo, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys. Until next time.
Keep fit and have fun.
Hey, cheers.